days, and your stories. Choose Joy. Choose an HD decoder, dish kit plus 1 month DSTV access for only 2,999 shillings and enjoy every moment with DSTV.
Serikali ya Rais Uhuru Kenyatta imetekeleza miradi mbalimbali kwenye sekta ya afya kuhakikisha Wakenya wanapata huduma bora za afya na kwa bei nafuu. Wiki hii kwenye Project 254.
The Kenya we want is one in which no Kenyan should leave the country so as to receive the medical care they require.
Kila mtu amefahamu kuna linda mama na anakuja hospitalini na anasaidika hapa. Ikiwa ni operation ni bure. Ikiwa atazaa mwenyewe pia ni bure.
Hakuna mtu anafaa kukosa kupata huduma ya afya akienda kwa hospitali ya serikali.
You actually not done full payments.
When you
of me impregnating you.
Of when a doctor.
You've only done a down payment.
And you listen.
I am helping Kenyan men do their job. I have helped your men.
I am saying you keep quiet. Can you keep quiet to Dr. Foneke?
What proof do you have that I've been impregnated? The child has not been born.
The fact that you have impregnated another woman, now come damp.
Damp.
That means you can also do the same to me.
Had your sister been impregnated before?
My sister's never been.
No man has been able to do what I've done in this court today. 2 women are carrying my own. Call me a miracle worker.
The last day of the month of November 2021 it is. Good afternoon and welcome. This is KBC Lunchtime News on a very instrumental day, if you ask me, as the head of state is expected to be making his 8th State of the Nation address from Parliament buildings, and of course we will continue keeping you afloat with the latest happening. We also have our crew right there, and as soon as the President is there, we will be crossing over there. But before then, let's have a look at the news making headlines on this Tuesday afternoon. My name is Njue, and Anwangeshi will be handling the sign language interpretation for this live newscast. Remember, you can be part of the conversation via our social media platform as we are live. Now, straight to the news. Wajir County Referral Hospital workers have downed their tools after one of their colleagues, the only general surgeon, was killed in a road accident. Dr. Zenaya Mekonnen Zeleke was an Ethiopian national who, until his demise, had been contracted by the Wajir County government to provide quality healthcare services in the region.
Maana hapo jana mwendo wa kama saa 1 kamili surgeon wetu ambaye kwa majina anaitwa Dr. Zinae aliweza kuuliwa katika sehemu hii na gari la polisi. Hadi tupate hakikisho kwamba justice for Dr. Zinae iko, hapo ndio tutarudi kazini.
We have so far identified the police motor vehicle that was involved in the accident. And as police, we have also identified the driver of the motor vehicle. Right now, investigations are in advanced stage, and appropriate action is being taken against the driver.
Police in Kiambu have arrested 12 people and recovered over 30 assortment of mobile phones from them. The 12 are suspected to be among a gang that has been stealing from unsuspecting members of the public. The 12 who pose as boda operators in Kiambu town are believed to come from Gidogoro, Murera.
Kiambu Sub-County Commander Mohammed Badel and his security team confirmed to the press that the suspects who have been terrorizing residents of Kiambu between 4 to 5 a.m. in the morning as they walk to their places of work have been arrested.
Sometimes they use these knives, you can see, just to scare you, and then they snatch the phone. We have already discovered the knives with us with here, and we are still pursuing others who are in the same character. So I can urge those snatchers to keep off Kiambu town.
Mohammed said that in addition to the 12 suspects that are in remand, 4 more were arrested this morning waiting to be taken to court to face charges of robbery with violence.
Those 12 in custody, they have been given a high cash bail. They were unable to pay the cash bail. That's why they have been remanded, because it's a very serious crime. Normally they give judges 200,000 cash bail, which they cannot raise. So that's an indicator that the judges are working with us to restore peace in Kiambu town.
He assured the residents of Kiambu of their security and asked them to volunteer information on such criminals. Those whose phones have been stolen have also asked to report to the Kiambu OCS Stephen Wainaina with valid receipts.
Those borders working in Kiambu, they should have a unique number, like a K. K means Kiambu. So if another border comes from another county, we are going to arrest him. And we are going to work with the chairman of the borders and the secretaries.
Let's now shift focus to matters health, where the Chinese government has announced that it will provide an additional 1 billion doses of COVID-19 vaccines for Africa. President Xi Jinping says China will also send some 1,500 medical workers to Africa, as well as carry out 10 medical and health care projects on the continent.
To help the African Union realize its target of vaccinating 60% of African population by 2022, China will provide another 1 billion doses of COVID-19 vaccines for Africa. This includes 600 million free doses and 400 million doses jointly produced by China and Africa. President Xi Jinping put forth proposals on building the China-Africa community, which includes upholding solidarity in fighting COVID-19 and effectively ensure accessibility and affordability of vaccines in Africa. President Xi further hailed the spirit of China-Africa friendship and cooperation, saying it reflects the two sides' sharing of will and war and provides a source of strength for furthering China-Africa ties. Jacqueline Masharia for Lunchtime News.
Elsewhere, the National Authority for the Campaign Against Alcohol and Drugs, NACADA, says drug and substance abuse is one of the causes of school unrest in public secondary schools in the country. CEO Victor Okiama says a research conducted by the authority indicates that many students are abusing drugs with reckless abandon, and so there is need to tame the vice.
NACADA CEO Mr. Victor Okiama says the drugs and alcohol consumption is at the center of the wave of school unrest.
Kama shirika tumefanya research surveys katika mashule ya primary hata na secondary, na ukienda kwa mitandao yetu utaona findings za survey hizo zinaonyesha kwamba kuna shida kubwa katika mashule yetu. Hata mashule ambayo yanachomwa sasa, madawa yako katika center ya shida hiyo.
He said the authority will roll out an awareness campaign involving parents, teachers and learners to create awareness about the dangers of drug abuse.
So parents must take their responsibility, and the teachers and the school administration wawe katika mstari wa mbele katika kujangia harakati hii ya kuzuia ulevi na utumiaji mbaya wa madawa katika community yetu.
He urged the mainstream media to join NACADA in creating awareness about the effects of drug abuse.
We are challenging media. Please be at the forefront in fighting the menace of drug abuse in the country.
Stakeholders are, however, urging NACADA to place particular focus on social media to ensure it does not erode gains made in the fight against drug abuse.
Social media imekuwa njia moja muhimu ya mawasiliano, na social media usipoichunga vizuri inaweza pia kuangusha wewe kama kampuni.
And still on matters education, 7 schools in Bunyala sub-county Busia have benefited from a digitization program funded by the Republic of Slovakia. The digital program, procured at a cost of 4.2 million shillings, will cover schools in Busagwa, Makunda, Budalangi and 4 others.
Aid-funded program gifted each school 15 computers, a printer and Wi-Fi installation, earning accolades from the local community. Chief Administrative Secretary, Ministry of Foreign Affairs Ababu Namamba said Slovakia's generosity will help Busia be active in the digital space, as well as help young learners gain digital knowledge.
Already 7 schools have been supported, and we have discussed with the ambassador to expand this across Busia. And one of the things we want to see is a digital hub right here in Busia town, a hub where teachers can be trained in the digital space. It can be a resource center for learners.
Slovakia's ambassador to Kenya, Katarina Leligdonova, said the friendship between Kenya and Slovakia extends to other areas of importance, such as finding digital solutions, among other issues.
We have identified the areas where we'd like to cooperate, and the reason is being that currently not only Kenya but as well Slovakia and entire world face certain challenges. COVID, one of those, as well climate crisis, and these are the areas where the countries cannot face alone.
Yusuf Hilo, Lunchtime News.
In other news, traders at the Kiserian market in Kajiado County have welcomed the move by the county government to waive all fees to cushion them against the economic effects of COVID-19. The traders have expressed optimism that the spacious market will attract a wide range of customers. Kajiado Governor Joseph Olelenku says the construction of the market will enable the town adopt a 24-hour economy and decongest Kiserian streets where the traders have been selling their products.
Mimi leo nimekutana na wanabiashara wenu, watu wanafanya biashara ya ujenzi, building materials, ambaye wanafanya biashara ya mchanga, ya mawe na mambo mengi. Niliwaahidi kwamba mimi nitawajengea wao paki yao ya kupeleka malori ya ujenzi watoke ndani ya town. Tukiondoa malori ndani ya town hapa Kiseria, mtafurahia. Sitafungua town yenu hapo Kiseria, si ndio?
Kuna watu ambao wanajua vizuri sana, wengine walikuwa hawakufanya balloting, sijui walitoka kura wapi, kwa sababu kuna wageni wengi sana na kuna watu hawakupata vibada. Kuna wengine ambao wamekaa huku miaka 10 lakini hawajapata vibada mpaka saa hii.
Hapa bwana gavana umefanya kazi nzuri, lakini kuna wale ambao wanaharibu kazi nzuri. Kuna wale watu wa serikali wameshajichagulia vipanda ya masikini.
Moving on, a school in Muhuru Ward, Nyatike Sub-County has received 50 iron sheets from a well-wisher after a heavy windstorm blew off its roof. The donor, Jackson Mraga, who is a member of the community, said that he decided to assist the school to ensure that learners continue with their studies uninterrupted.
Winjo Primary School in Nyatike area of Migori County. This is a result of a vicious windstorm that hit the area a week ago, leaving 4 classrooms in a sorry state with learning activities interrupted. However, in efforts geared towards salvaging the situation, a member of the community, Jackson Mraga, has donated 50 iron sheets to the institution.
We are approaching KCPE, and this is an examination center. So if we don't come fast and do something to safeguard the welfare of our children, we are afraid that maybe the examination may not take effect at the right time.
The donation, he hopes, will shield the learners during this rainy season and provide a conducive environment for those set to sit their national examination. According to the school head teacher Mark Warioba, since the storm, half of the school population has been learning under trees.
Our learners are now learning under trees. They're suffering from cold, sunshine, which is very dangerous. That one has really affected learning in the compound. We have over 400 learners. Half of them are learning under trees.
Nimesaka na wazazi wote ambapo tulikuwa nao hapa tangia asubuhi mpaka sasa. Tumekubaliana kila mtoto atoe shilingi 200 kama mchango ili tuanze naye vile tunaweza tengeneza hii nyumba yetu.
We are appealing to the Minister of Education to come and support the reconstruction of the school and the classrooms. We also ask the Office of the Governor to give support in such emergency cases.
The school has a population of 420 learners. Nancy Okware, Lunchtime News.
In other news, the Gertrude Children's Foundation, in partnership with M-Pesa, have launched the Daktari Smart Telemedicine program in Tiati in a bid to provide timely medical care to residents. The program is expected to reduce the distance covered by locals to seek treatment.
According to Dr. Robert Nyarango, CEO Gertrude Foundation, the program is targeting some 32,000 children located in rural and understaffed areas.
Fewer pediatricians and most of them are based in the urban areas. So if you have a child who has a more complicated program that requires to be referred, they'll have to travel many kilometers outside this location.
The ambitious program is, however, facing some challenges ranging from network issues to mindset.
We have more basic problems in this county in terms of for instance, if we begin with the matter of connectivity, how many dispensaries or hospitals can we have telemedicine in Tiati? Forget the entire county.
Some residents are traveling up to 100 kilometers to access health services. The health project will handle special cases such as heart disease, malaria, and snake bites. Reporting for Lunchtime News, I'm Purity Muse.
Yeah, there you have it. We are now taking our first commercial break, but don't go away. We still have more news, including business and sports.
My daughter here will be representing me, and that means that she will be leading this project. Out of here right now, or I will throw you out myself.
No. I hope those two kill each other.
Please. You really want us to make one last effort to be a family? You need to explain to me what you're talking about.
He might know the truth, and he might know that I'm here to get my revenge on Victoriano because of what.
It's your first time. Hey, I can see what's going on. You lack experience. Why are you dressed like this? You ought to dress more like me. Hey, and what was it?
I'm so glad we went with ping pong.
Lucky. Hey?
Yeah.
有一段故事建筑一座城堡，会放进去。
Do you have a news story to share with KBC? Get in touch swiftly on email newsroom@kbc.co.ke, call 0723 892 654 or 0734 780 124.
Welcome back and thanks for keeping it KBC. Let's now make sense of shillings and cents in business, where audit firm EY Kenya projects the Kenyan economy to weather next year's general election and the negative effects of the COVID-19 pandemic to grow by 5% in the year 2022. EY Kenya says the country will achieve the growth due to various intervention measures that have been rolled out by the government in fighting the COVID-19 pandemic.
The COVID-19 had a negative impact on the economies across the globe. In 2020, the global GDP contracted by 3.6%, Africa's GDP contracted 2.4%, the Eurozone contracted 6.7%, while the Americas contracted 4.3%. Like other countries, Kenya's economy also contracted 0.3% in 2020 due to the negative impact of COVID-19 pandemic. Kenya has implemented various interventions to help the economy recover, which, coupled with enablers such as the big infrastructural development, are expected to power the economy to register a growth of 5% in 2022.
GDP growth decelerated to 1.4% in 2020 from 5.4% in 2019, and then we are saying we expect it to rebound to 5% next year.
Analysts at the EY Kenya expect the effects of prolonged drought that has affected several parts of Kenya to roll into next year, slowing the economy.
It goes without saying that impacts, of course, the agricultural sector, it impacts small businesses, and of course even people's spending capability.
He says technology, finance, health and hospitality industry need more government intervention that would hold the key for Kenya recording growth at a faster pace.
Increase in investment in non-traditional sectors. So, for example, we are seeing a lot of foreign direct investment going into the services sector, the technology space, and away from extractive industries like minerals and natural resources.
In other news, Waste Electric and Electronic Equipment Center plans to establish 6 e-waste collection centers and 30 drop-off points to enhance collection. The center's CEO, Bonnie Mbidi, projects that this will help create 2,000 jobs in Kenya over the next 3 years. As Hibak Said narrates, of the 51,000 tons of e-waste generated in Kenya annually, only 1% of it is properly collected.
Waste Electric and Electronic Equipment Center focuses on collection and safe disposal as well as recycling of e-waste materials through technology and modern recycling methods. As at last year, Kenya was estimated to be generating 51.3 thousand tons of e-waste annually, with 99% of it carelessly dumped. The center is seeking to boost collection of such waste by establishing 30 e-waste drop-off centers and 6 collection centers spread across the country.
The next few weeks, we are creating new centers across the country. So we'll have a new center in Mombasa, we'll have a new center in Nakuru, we'll have a center in Kisumu. So this is part of our expansion plan and also to create jobs. We are looking at creating over 2,000 jobs in the next few months.
This investment comes after Waste Electric and Electronic Equipment Center and 4 other companies won a grant of 15 million shillings from the UK Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office to implement innovative solutions with the potential to create productive jobs for the youth and women. With the funding, Mbidi says the center will boost its capacity to manage not only e-waste generated in Kenya but the entire East African region.
It's a $55 billion economy that we're looking at. So for Kenya, it's an economy that can create, I think, thousands and thousands, in fact, millions of jobs across the country. Because if you look at the value chain, you will have people who are collecting the e-waste, you will have people who are transporting the e-waste, you have recycling facilities like Waste Center, you have industries that will get the component.
Waste Electric and Electronic Equipment Center uses the recycled waste to provide raw materials to be used in the manufacturing of new equipment in the country.
We're able to manage up to 200 tons of e-waste in a month, So 200 tons of e-waste in a month. But because of the lack of awareness, lack of these policies, people are not aware. So you find in a month we can get up to 50 tons. So we are still operating below capacity.
Reporting for Lunchtime News, my name is Hibak Said.
Now, the construction of Njanaheri-Ngomeni Road in Malindi is slated to start next month after years of delay. The road is expected to open up the San Marcos Space Center to visitors and help the local fishing community. The road is part of a 780 million shillings investment in the region's blue economy to spur economic development.
In the last 5 years, the government has invested more than 300 billion shillings on roads, ports and bridges aimed at enhancing connectivity in the coastal region. Some of the projects include the Dongokundu bypass, the Lamu port and the expansion of the Mombasa port, among others. This has eased transportation in the region. The area is further set to benefit from almost 800 million shillings funding in a collaboration between Kenya and Italian governments.
We present projects that are focused on blue economy, that it help the community of fishermen and in general the economy, the sector which are related to the sea. But we have a lot of other projects in the coast, and especially we have a prospect of possible future projects. And now we are very close to sign an agreement for a new important program that will encompass health, infrastructures, and education.
Among the projects earmarked for development is the tamaking of Njanaheri-Ngomeni Road that links Malindi to the San Marcos Space Agency in Ngomeni, Malindi Sub-County, construction of schools and key blue economy projects, most of which will be done in Kilifi County. Kilifi Governor Amason Kingi has appealed to the government to fast-track the projects which will open the region's blue economy.
I think one of the biggest projects is the tamaking of the Lamu Road, Ngomeni Road, which we are waiting for the agreements to be signed at the Treasury. And I'd wish to take this opportunity to urge, to humbly urge CS Shukuri Yatani to expedite in the signing of these agreements so that that road is actually tarmacked. It's that road being tarmacked will not only be beneficial to the locals, but even the employees of the space station.
Other projects to be undertaken include the construction of fish drying center, rehabilitation of schools and health facilities. Reporting for Lunchtime News, I am Teresa Mutai.
Now, President Uhuru Kenyatta will, in the next 30 minutes or so, address a joint sitting of Parliament in what could be his last State of the Nation address as President. The head of state has, in the past, used the State of the Nation address to highlight development progress and measures being taken by his government to secure the country from external aggressions, and also, of course, taking a scorecard of what he has been able to do as the head of state. And we have our crew there, as I had alluded to earlier, and JJ Kyoria is now joining us live from Parliament, where of course he had been able to have a feel of what to expect in the day. JJ, if you can hear me, what are some of the expectations from the people you have been able to speak to?
Good afternoon to you. Bentroy Njue back at Broadcasting House. We're coming to you live from Parliament Buildings. The State of a Nation address. In about 30-40 minutes or so, President Uhuru Kenyatta will make his way to Parliament as he makes his 8th address, State of a Nation, to a joint a sitting of both houses, the National Assembly and the Senate. Albeit the restrictions of a COVID-19 pandemic, 114 members only will be allowed inside the chambers. And I'll be telling you about the expectations later in the preparations. But since I have one of the members of parliament who will be in the chambers when President Uhuru Kenyatta comes in, let's just talk to him. The Kuria West member of parliament, Mathias Robi, is with us this afternoon. Karibu sana mheshimiwa.
Asante.
Let's begin with your expectation as a member of parliament, probably serving your last year in this term of parliament. What do you expect President Uhuru Kenyatta to touch when he comes in?
Today we are so happy and we're waiting for the president to give us good plans. And we are very sure today, being now the last day to address our parliament before he retires, he will come with good plans. One, we know the economy of Kenya right now is not working very well. People are struggling with life. So we are very sure today the president will come up with the good plans which will enable the people of Kenya to move forward. Again, as Jubilee government, we know we promised people of Kenya many things. And at the moment, we know the Agenda 4 has stuck and the president is now thinking about it. And we are very sure he will talk about the Agenda 4 going forward before next year comes for him to retire.
All right. Much of what he will require, and I'm sure this report will be tabled after he exits from these chambers, much of it will require legislative support from you as members of parliament. But then I'm thinking by February next year, all of you have gone to the campaign trail to campaign. How do you marry the legislative agenda that the president will bring in vis-a-vis the general election that is upcoming next year?
I'm very sure before the budget of next year, the president at least will have come up with the one strategy which will enable the people of Kenya to move forward in such a way that he has planned for the Agenda 4 and many things to happen, so that we can now start preparing before we move to the next election. At least he can leave the country at a good state.
You're looking at the president, having assumed power from the year 2013, and he's been doing these, addresses since 2013 annually, and you've been in this chamber since 2013. What do you think is President Uhuru Kenyatta's biggest achievement so far?
Our president has achieved many things in this country, especially in his first term. I can assure Kenyans that our president did a good job for Kenyans. Only that in his second term, at least some ABCD things came up which challenged the country, and we can see one of them being coronavirus, which made the country now to lag behind. Also this issue of BBI we can see, and the handshake, at least they have mixed up ABCD. This issue of the constitution, it has messed up the country, but I'm very sure today the president will address our people how now everything can move forward. And I can promise people of Kenya, and also I'm appealing to our president to come with something to tell people how he will leave this country as from next year, as we'll be going for the next election.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mathias Robi, the Member of Parliament for Kuria West, speaking to us about the expectations of members of Parliament and probably even the public about the address by President Uhuru Kenyatta here. Thank you very much, Mheshimiwa. Obviously, the preparations are in top gear. The military is preparing itself to mount a guard of honor in honor of President Uhuru Kenyatta. Like I've said, this is a very significant State of a Nation address. It is the last under President Uhuru Kenyatta. Of course, it may not be the last. If he can choose to address Parliament next year, but this is the last. And seeing that he traditionally does it in November, this could be his last. And the Constitution mandates him under Article 132 of a Constitution to address Parliament every year as regards the statutes, international statutes, and the State of a Nation, as it were, in terms of fulfilling the national values. The Speaker of the National Assembly and the Senate are already inside the chambers preparing themselves to receive President Uhuru Kenyatta once he comes in. And we are also on standby to give you live events as they happen from Parliament buildings. We have a vantage eye to ensure that you get every detail of what will be happening right here in Parliament as President Uhuru Kenyatta makes the grand entrance and addresses the nation as regards how Kenya is fulfilling its national values and international obligations. Back to you, Njue, at Broadcasting House. We'll be live back again once President Uhuru Kenyatta is about to get to Parliament. Ben Troy.
Indeed. Thank you so much, JJ Curie. Of course, I would have engaged you, but we still have to have a feel of how other places, what are the expectations and perhaps views from the members of public. And having said that, as he has said, is that preparations check, military band check, security check. And of course, he has engaged a member of parliament, Kuria, to just give us a feel of the day. And from parliament, we now cross over to the lakeside city of Kisumu. Achola Simon, if you can hear me, kindly bring us up to speed. What are some of the expectations or a feel from the members of public?
Well, thank you very much, Ben Troy Njue. Of course, as my colleague John Jacob Curie has just indicated, that of course it will center much on the national and international values. Over the years, what has always happened has been that Kenyans have expected the president to actually talk about corruption, of course, the high living standards in the country, and a number of other issues, and that has not been different this year, and especially here in Kisumu since morning. The narrative has been about the issue of corruption and, of course, also the high living standards now in the country. But also remember that we are only just about 9 months away from the next general poll, and most locals have actually been talking about the need for the government to give direct direction and of course reassure the country that when we head into the next general poll, this country will remain united, and of course call on leaders who will be campaigning across the country as we head into the new year, so that then they can actually maintain peace and ensure that the narrative that will be coming out in those political rallies will revolve around uniting the country and ensuring that those who are actually going to be elected in the next general poll will be of good value to this country, and not those people who are actually going to divide the country along tribal lines. Nonetheless, Troy, we also have a group of youngsters here who've actually been having some activities around here in Ahero, who also want to chip in and actually give us what they actually expect from President Uhuru Kenyatta address this afternoon. So we'll just have one of the youths here, one of the youngsters here, who will come in and actually tell us. Kindly introduce yourself and tell us what are your expectations this afternoon when President Uhuru Kenyatta goes into Parliament to actually address the nation.
My name is Samson Kamete from Nyando Sub-County. I would like the President to address the issue of agriculture, more so the organic agriculture, so that we can also benefit from the outside world markets. And in that, we all know that agriculture is the backbone of this country. So what we need is that to involve youth in agriculture, because many times we have seen old people given some grants, and we as youth, we are remaining without getting anything from the government. So Mr. President, you can address and include us in this government through agriculture, because nowadays we know that jobs are not there, but we need to venture in more in agriculture, because we still have energy, and we need the grants or you to reduce the price of fertilizers and other inputs, so that we can get everything as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Hemston. Of course, Troy, that is exactly what is happening, or what are the thoughts of locals here in Kisumu County who are actually wanting the president actually to address the issue of agriculture. And remember, agriculture is one of the pillars in the Big Four agenda. Back to you, Ben Troy. Enjoy.
Thank you so much, Achola Simon, live from Kisumu there. He has engaged one youth who's talking about youth affairs and, of course, the cost of living and matters agriculture. And from Kisumu, let's now cross over to Mombasa. Junei Karisa, good afternoon. Kindly bring us to speed. What are some of the expectations of the president's speech expected any moment from 2 p.m.?
Good afternoon, Ben Njue. Of course, we're coming to you from the streets of Mombasa, also from the residents of Mombasa, to hear them out. What are some of the expectation in what it appears to be the last State of the Nation address by President Uhuru Kenyatta. So let me just begin with Mkazi, and please allow us to switch language for ease of communication. Tuambie jina lako na utuambie tu matarajio yako kwa kiufupi tu kuhusu the state of the nation leo.
Mimi majina naitwa Isaya Otieno. Mimi ni mkaaji wa Mombasa kikazi, lakini kwetu ni Homa Bay. Mimi nafurahia usalama yenye iko kwa inchi kwa sasa, na ningeomba rais akiongea atilie mkazo zaidi usalama wenye uko, ili sisi watu wa chini tuendelee kutafuta kwa mazingara yenye haina shida. La pili, hii shida ya ufisadi haijapigwa vizuri, because mimi kama mkaaji wa Likoni, tukivuka feri tunaona ufisadi ikifanyika wazi mbele yetu, kwa sababu kuna zile nyakati watu wanastahili kupitia daraja na maaskari wanastahili kukataza watu kupitia pale mvuko, lakini wanachukua pesa kwa watu kiolela.
Hayo ni madai yako, tuna hatuwezi ya tilia mkazi. Tueleze tu kuanzia 2013 mpaka leo, wewe kama mkazi wa Mombasa umeona manufaa gani kupitia hii serikali, na anapoongea leo Rais Uhuru Kenyatta unamtarajia angalie swala lipi?
Mimi nataka asisitize kwanza swala za usalama. La pili, ningemuomba mimi kwa mtazamo wangu arudishe bei ya gas chini. Hiyo ndio inaumiza mwananchi wa kawaida kabisa, kwa sababu ikiwa bei ya gasi itafika ile mtungi ya chini fika 2,000, inamaanisha kuna mahali tunaenda.
Asante sana. Nina mkazi mwingine, pengine tuambie tu jina lako. Naelewa wewe ndio mwenyekiti wa tuktuk hapa katika kaunti ya Mombasa. Ukiangalia mambo yakoje? Anza na majina.
Kwa majina naitwa Ali Mohamed, na ukweli wa mambo, state of the nation, things are very worse, because tangu Uhuru atoke kwa reli ya agenda 4 kila kitu kiliharibika. Umeona yeye mwenyewe anakuwa anakataa kuheshimu court orders. Mawaziri wake wanafanya vitu ambavyo ni tofauti na vile wananchi wanatarajia. So inasikitisha sana. Unaona kwamba sasa pia tunalazimishwa ati ni lazima watu waende wakadunge vaccine ya corona. Watu wanashindwa, serikali kuna agenda gani?
So kama watu wa tuktuk, pengine tukimalizia, mungependa swala gani haswa liweze kuzingatia ili kuona kama kwamba wewe mkazi wa Mombasa ambaye unaendesha tuktuk katika mji huu umeweza kuzingatiwa?
Ukweli swala kubwa ambalo lafaa lizingatiwa ni kuimarisha uchumi, kwa sababu ukiangalia sasa watu wengi wamekosa njia za kujidumu kimaisha. Ukiangalia malori hayafanyi kazi, biashara yote imeenda kwa SGR. Matatu tangu wakati wa corona ili affect sana watu kwa sababu ya zile regulations. So sisi kitu tuwaomba ni consider njia ya kuweza kuimarisha uchumi na vitu viteremshwe bei.
Asante sana. Those are just some few remarks from the residents of Mombasa here. Of course, we are still interacting with them. We'll probably give you more remarks on what they expect the State of the Nation address today to touch on. But key issues is security and, of course, the state of the economy and, of course, the joblessness here in the county of Mombasa. So I hand it back to you, Njue, as we interact with more residents from the streets of Mombasa.
Indeed, shukran Junei Karisa, live from the coastal city of Mombasa there. And of course, if you followed the three conversations, they are resonating mostly on the cost of living, but also they have touched on matter of security and of course revival of the project under the Big Four agenda. Of course, that is a discussion that will form basis of a discussion actually in the next couple of minutes. And as we wait for the president, we'll be having a live panel right here to touch on some of the things or aspects that Kenyans would like the head of state to focus on, or even give us a scorecard on what the government has been able to do. Away from that, let's now move to the world of sports, where Gor Mahia FC jetted back home Tuesday morning after their 1-0 loss to AS Otoho of Congo last Sunday in the CAF Confederations Cup playoff round first leg encounter. However, sporting director Lodvik Adunda confirmed that two Gor Mahia players, Jules Ulimwengu and midfielder John Masharia, tested positive for COVID-19 and will remain in quarantine for 8 days before being allowed to travel back to Kenya. Gor Mahia will host AS Otoho in the second leg on 5th of December at the Nyayo National Stadium. Further afield, Paris Saint-Germain and Argentina hitman Lionel Messi has won the men's Ballon d'Or for a record 7th time. Messi saw off competition from Bayern Munich's striker Robert Lewandowski and Chelsea midfielder Jorginho.
Barcelona captain's success is attributed to helping his country win the Copa America, his first international honor, and netting 40 times this year with 28 goals for Barcelona, 4 for PSG and 8 for his country Argentina. Bayern Munich and Poland striker Robert Lewandowski, who claimed the newly introduced award, the Striker of the Year prize, for his recent success with Bayern, came second. Chelsea and Italy midfielder Jorginho was third, and Real Madrid's French striker Karim Benzema finished fourth. Chelsea's N'Golo Kante closed the top 5, while Manchester United's Cristiano Ronaldo came in 6th. PSG's Gianluigi Donnarumma won the Yashin Trophy for Best Goalkeeper, while Champions League winner Chelsea were named Club of the Year. Barcelona midfielder Pedri won the Copa Trophy for the best player aged under 21. While Barcelona women's team captain Alexia Putellas won this year's Women Ballon d'Or.
And from sports, we now cross over back to Parliament, where our reporter JJ Kuria is on standby. The last-minute preparations for the head of state, who is expected to actually be there any moment from 2 p.m. And I can see it's some minutes to 2 p.m. JJ Kuria, what have you been able to gather? Kindly.
On again at Parliament Buildings. We continue with the coverage of a address as we focus on, the expectations of the public and members of Parliament as President Uhuru Kenyatta executes his mandate of addressing Parliament under the Article 132 of the Constitution, and addressing the country on how the country has fulfilled its national values and, most importantly, its international obligations. And he will also table a report in Parliament for debate coming sessions. But right about now, I have a member of Parliament. Very quickly, you can just tell us your name as we proceed very quickly. Karibu sana mheshimiwa.
Asante sana, mimi ni Peter Oscar Nabulindo, mheshimiwa mbunge wa Matungu constituency, the latest kwa parliament ya Kenya.
Naongera sana.
Asante sana, nashukuru.
Haya, kwanza kabisa labda tueleze kwa kifupi matarajio yako kama mheshimiwa Matungu wakati ambapo Rais Uhuru Kenyatta atakuwa anahutubia nchi. Ni yapi?
Niko na matarajio mengi sana kwa niaba ya watu wa Matungu. Kitu ya kwanza, mimi ni mwakilishi wa wakulima. Mimi ni mwakilishi wa wakulima, kwamba 99% ya watu wa Matungu ni wakulima wa miwa. Na unavyojua ni kwamba ukuzaji wa miwa umekuwa na changamoto mingi sana, ambapo kwamba swala la Mumias Sugar Company ambapo ilianguka na imeletea watu wengi ukosefu wa kazi, ukosefu wa ajira, ukosefu wa shughuli za kujimudu. Kwa hivyo wazazi wengi ama wakazi wengi wa Matungu wako katika hali ya umaskini. Ningependa Mheshimiwa Rais wa nchi kwa mara nyingine aguzie swala la Mumias Sugar Company. Atuambie kwamba Mumias Sugar Company tuko na matumaini kwamba siku moja itakuja kuamka ili wakazi wa Matungu pia waweze kupata nafuu, warudi katika ile hali yao ya maisha ya kujipatia pato lao, wasomeshe watoto wao na waangalie familia zao.
Unapolizungumzia jambo hilo ni kwamba gharama ya maisha pia imepanda sana, na sio tu kwa wakulima, ni kwamba kila mwananchi kwa njia moja ama nyingine ni kwamba anasikia ugumu wa maisha. Sijui ungetaka kusikia rais akisema vipi, ama ni mikakati gani unaweza taka kusikia rais akisema kuhusu kutoa hali hiyo gumu?
Asante sana. Kwanza ningependa rais aguzie swala la bei ya mafuta. Bei ya mafuta iko juu sana na inaendelea kupanda kila mwezi kwa sababu ya ushuru. Na hiyo ushuru kumekuwa na debate kwamba ushuru itolewe, na ningependa rais sasa achukue hatua deliberately ya kuweza kutoa ushuru katika bei ya mafuta. Bei irudi chini, na unajua bei ya mafuta ikirudi chini, bei ya maisha ya vitu zingine zote zitaweza kumiliki vizuri. Kwa wakati huu maisha iko juu sana, bei ya vitu iko juu, hata hii unga ya kawaida iko juu, vyombo za ukulima kama mbolea, mbegu ziko juu sana. Na tungependa kwamba wakati huu rais aweze kuchukua nafasi ya kuwapatia wananchi nafuu kwa kupunguza ushuru kwa vitu zile essential commodities kama mafuta, chakula. Alafu swala lingine ni swala la school fees ya university. School fees ya university imeongezeka maradufu, over 35%. Na hiyo swala imefanya wanafunzi wengi wamewacha kwenda shuleni kwa sababu hawawezi wazazi wao hawawezi waka-afford ile fees ambayo iliwekwa juu. Kwa hivyo hilo ni swala ambalo ningependa rais pia aguzie leo kwamba fees ya university ikuwe moderated ili wanafunzi wengi waweze kupata nafasi ya kusoma katika maisha yao.
Mheshimiwa Nabulindo, tunapomalizia kuna swala la kwamba hii ndio itakuwa hotuba ya mwisho ya Rais Uhuru Kenyatta kama rais wa taifa kuhutubia mabunge haya mawili. Sijui tunapoelekea kwenye uchaguzi ungetaka kusikia vipi kutoka kwa rais wakati ambapo tunaelekea kwenye uchaguzi, hii ikiwa ni hotuba yake ya mwisho kwenu nyinyi kama wabunge?
Kwanza ni hongera kwa rais kwa kumaliza muda wake wa vipindi viwili kwa amani, na Kenya tumeona maendeleo mengi, barabara zinajengwa, taasisi kadhaa zinajengwa, Nairobi imeweza kuwa revamped kutoka kwa ile chaos. Sasa hii tunaona stability kwa Nairobi town. Na wakati ambapo rais anapeana hotuba ya mwisho ili mwaka ujao sasa anaenda kitu ya kwanza hiyo hatua ambayo alichukua ya kuleta amani Kenya hii, handshake ni hatua muhimu sana. Itawacha legacy nyuma kwamba ni rais ambaye alichukua steps ya kuhakikisha kwamba Kenya inabaki katika amani anapoondoka. Na vile vile kule mbele katika mambo ya siasa anapoondoka, tunamuomba kwamba apatie wa Kenya nafasi ya kumchagua yule atakayemrithi yeye. Yeye asichukue jukumu la kumtaja yule ambaye atamrithi. Wacha wa Kenya wachague, awache uwanja ikue free and fair. Asichukue upande yote, asishike upande huu wala ule. Atuachie sisi wa Kenya tuamue, tungangane hapa katikati, wanasiasa wangangane, na tutapata kiongozi kama yeye vile alivyopatikana. Asante.
Mheshimiwa Nabulindo kutoka Matungu upande wa magharibi akizungumza nasi kuhusu matumaini yake na matarajio yake wakati ambapo Rais Uhuru Kenyatta, asante sana, wakati ambapo Rais Uhuru Kenyatta atakuwa analihutubia taifa. Tunahesabu masaa na dakika, hivi sasa ni saa 7 ama saa 8 kasoro dakika 6. Natarajiwa kwamba muda wa dakika 10 hivi zijazo Rais Uhuru Kenyatta ataweza kuwasili. Tayari viongozi wa idara za usalama wa taifa ikiwemo Inspector General wa polisi ama mkuu wa kikosi cha polisi na wakuu wa vikosi vya jeshi tayari washafika kwenye majengo ya bunge. Vile vile nimemuona Chief Justice Martha Koome pia akiwa katika majengo ya bunge. Tayari nilisha kufahamisha kwamba maspika wote wawili wako tayari kwenye majengo ya bunge, na kwa hivyo tunayemtarajia hivi sasa ni viongozi wa kisiasa na wa kitaifa wakiwemo Mheshimiwa Raila Odinga, Mheshimiwa Musalia Mudavadi, Kalonzo Musyoka, wale viongozi wa OKA, naibu rais William Ruto na hatimaye rais wa taifa Uhuru Kenyatta wakati ambapo watafika kwenye hili bunge. Nibadilisha lugha kidogo. This is the 8th address or the State of a Nation for President Uhuru Kenyatta and his last. And you will remember the last State of a Nation address, the President used it to elucidate further about the Big Four agenda and what the government was doing to ensure that the Big Four agenda was placed on a pedestal and for a takeoff. And the President has been insistent that these 4 pillars will be the ultimate solution to Kenya's problem of inequality, and you will still expect that the President will touch on it because he still has one more year in office as he winds up his term. But there's also the idea of fulfilling international obligations. You will remember just like about last month, the International Court of Justice was able to or rather issued a verdict against the Republic of Kenya, or one that appeared to balance between Kenya and Somalia over the maritime border dispute that has existed for some years now. And you will remember that evening, President Uhuru Kenyatta was very categorical, and he issued that statement saying Kenya will not cede even an inch to the Republic of Somalia, the Federal Republic of Somalia. And that was also reiterated during his Mashujaa Day speech. And that you also expect the President to say here, because in terms of fulfilling international obligations, Kenya is not ready to cede any part of its boundary to any other republic. But also the security around this entire region, and particularly when you speak about the IGAD region, the Intergovernmental Authority on Development region. You will remember there are several countries that are facing strife. Our neighbors to the north, Ethiopia, there's a strife in Sudan. And there's also a problem of security in the neighboring country of Uganda. Somalia also has never stabilized. Just about last week, there was a blast in Mogadishu. And Kenya has a strategic role to play in terms of security to ensure that there is peace also in the territories of her neighbors, because any overflow of chaos would actually be an overflow of chaos into the Republic of Kenya. And therefore, again, it will be quite interesting to see how this goes and what the President will actually say. But I have Senator Cherargei with me here on set. He's a former chair of the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee and now in the Senate. First of all, Senator, there's quite an interesting bill I've seen here that is being tabled by Majority Leader Amos Kimunya. Yes. That seeks to amend the Political Parties Act and allow the formation of a coalition of parties, not just a political party. Do you think this is the direction the country will take moving forward?
No, I think party discipline is important as a country, and anytime trying to sanitize and ensure parties as institutions are built just like any other public institution, because you remember political parties now are funded by taxpayers, so there should be some discipline and some decency within political parties, even as we go to general election. But what is important is that I've read that bill, it wants to endanger and threaten Article 37 on political rights, because we should not restrict formation of parties, political association and many other aspects. So going into the future, we must be careful not also to threaten the political rights that is provided under Article 37 and 38 of the Constitution of Kenya. Yeah.
You talk about political discipline and you're advocating for UDA principles where you're still in Jubilee Party. Yes. Is that political party discipline?
No, we already, by the way, do you know UDA is PDR? PDR is a coalition partner of Jubilee. So we are just within Jubilee, so we are not violating any of the law. Right. So let us, but my only concern is that as a country going into the future and as a young leader, I would really want to see party discipline and political parties become institutions that they have ideologies, that they have principles, that they can stand with ideology. That today when we talk about UDA, they talk about economic empowerment. You talk about another party, they talk about devolution. So those aspects that we really want to see. Yeah.
What are your expectations today as the president makes his way to the joint sitting of both houses to address you? His last State of a Nation address, by the way.
Probably it should be, I think he has one. He has one in March. Where next year in March. What I can say, there are 4 things that I want to see in the president's speech. One, I expect the president to give a statesman speech today. That is my prayer. Number 2 is I want to see him state about the preparation of the country towards the 2022 general election. Number 2, the COVID strategies, especially issues of vaccination, issues of the new variant. And then number 3, to discuss about post-COVID recovery, especially on issues of economy. And finally, the issues of farmers. You remember now we are harvesting in the North Rift. 50 kilos of bag of maize is 1,350, which is very disappointing because we expected 3,500 per bag. And finally, of course, to tell us how the region is doing. You remember Ethiopia, we are having a problem in Ethiopia. Our partnership now with Tanzania, what we are doing in the country. And also when he visited US, he should be able to tell us the country, what is the talks in terms of bilateral agreements with the United States of America. And importantly, the issue of corruption. It's especially, he had promised the country to tell us about Pandora box, because he had said when he come back, he can tell the country what is this Pandora box that he's discussing about. And then of course the issue of KEMSA, where he said 21 days, no one has been arrested today. So those are some of the issues that I expect when he appears for the State of the Nation address.
Obviously, when that report is tabled about what he will address you today, there are legislative measures that will be expected from you as members of a Senate, as members of a National Assembly. Problem is, you're headed to the next general election. Probably by February it will be a chaotic house because none of you will be showing up in the house. What happens then to the report that he will table today?
I want to assure the country by saying any legislative and policy that the president will table before the house today, and it is meant for the betterment of the country, I want to assure we will give it the necessary support. Even our party, our UDA members, the people who support Deputy President, I can assure you will give the necessary support. Right. Yeah.
Senator Cherargei of Nandi County speaking to us. Right about now I have the Kakamega Senator Cleopas Malala, one of the luminaries of the One Kenya Alliance. But we're here to talk about the State of a Nation address. Senator Malala, very quickly, your expectations as, you know, the Senator for Kakamega and a national leader when it comes to address Parliament today?
2 major issues. One, he needs to give us his own report card. Last year he came, addressed us on certain issues. Key among them was the economic stimulus and the recovery strategy of our economy as a country. We need him to tell us what he has done so far as a country and as a government. He needs to tell us how many young people he has supported to ensure that they recover from the injuries, the economic injuries they sustained during the COVID-19 pandemic. Second, we need His Excellency President Uhuru Kenyatta to tell us the government preparedness as we head to next year's general election. We want him to tell us and assure us how he is going to ensure that he upholds the independence of the IEBC, how he will fund IEBC adequately, how he's assuring Kenyans of a free and fair elections, how he's assuring Kenyans of a peaceful transition from his administration to the next administration. And therefore we are expecting him to in detail cover that subject, and I want to implore upon him to ensure that we have a peaceful country. We all know during every transition year we have people fighting, communities fighting, but this time round as leaders we are preaching peace. We are saying that elections come only after every 5 years. We want to ask our leaders to be responsible with the utterances they make in public, to ensure that we achieve cohesion and integration as envisaged in our constitution. And therefore I'll be expecting the president as a symbol of unity to ensure that he is expressing the concerns that I am putting forth here today.
As you talk about the next general election, Are you concerned probably that the legislative proposals that the president would have today as he tables his report could be inhibited by Parliament almost by February next year? Most of you have gone to campaign for the respective seats you're looking for.
No, our term, of course, ends next year, August, and therefore it is upon the legislative arm to ensure that it expedites. We've seen bills coming here. We saw the BBI bill coming here. It was passed within 2-3 weeks. And therefore, any other bill or legislation that is going to help us have a smooth transition, that is going to help us have a credible election, we are assuring Kenyans we are going to expedite the process and deliver the legislation in good time.
We have seen some of the legislations, coming in. I've seen a bill by Majority Leader Amos Kimunya, seeking to amend the Political Parties Act and make, the formation of coalition of parties instead of a political party in terms of definition. It appears like this is what much of what you will be dealing with as you head towards the next election.
Of course, we've seen coalitions not living up to their words, and therefore it's very important for us to legislate how are we going to have coalitions having binding agreements. We've seen people giving promises pre-election, but immediately they get into power, they disregard the agreements with absolute disobedience. And we are saying that if it is legislated that you must uphold to the arrangements and the agreements you had as a coalition before the elections, I think that is a good thing. As pertains the having a corporate body in the name of a party in a coalition, the same way we had NAC in 2002, I think that is important because this country, we need to strengthen democracy, we need to strengthen party democracy in our country. And if we have coalitions coming up together as political parties, I think that is the best thing. I will personally be supporting that bill and ensuring that we strengthen coalitions.
All right. Senator Cleopas Malala from Kakamega speaking to us live from Parliament buildings. What you can hear behind me, the hummings of the Kenya Defence Forces as they prepare to mount the guard of honor in honor of President Uhuru Kenyatta as he makes his way here to address the National Assembly and the Senate on the 8th address, the State of the Nation address. Back to you in studio. We'll be coming back with more interviews and analysis in Parliament buildings.
Ili kupata skiza tune hii ya usifadhaishwe, bonyeza star 811 star 961 hash.
Usifadhaishwe na mafanikio ya wengine ukihisi kwamba maisha yako hayana maana. Kumbuka wengi huzungumzia tu mafanikio yao na si changamoto walizozipitia na ni mara ngapi walianguka. Tia bidii, muda wako utafika.
Ili kupata skiza tune hii ya usifadhaishwe, bonyeza star 811 star 961 hash.
This festive, choose joyful time.
Get this done.
Anytime.
So good.
Choose fist pumping.
So good. I got you here.
Heart thumping.
I feel nice.
Choose drama for days. And your stories.
Choose joy. Choose an HD decoder, dish kit plus 1 month DSTV access for only 2,999 shillings and enjoy every moment with DSTV.
Najua kwamba Lea yuko hai. Nina imani kwamba Lea yuko hai.
Mama yuko hai. Go pack your stuff. We are leaving.
I don't leave Mama alone.
Wewe sio jifanya una mdomo mwingi sana na roho ngumu. Haya, wacha tukuone sasa. Unamkumbuka huyu?
Na sijui kwa nini nazidi kunilaumu kwa sababu wewe binafsi wako.
Hadi.
Na kama ni kazi ndogo, mbona wewe uko chini?
Hebu toka hapa.
Ngoja kufa kisoja.
Serikali ya Rais Uhuru Kenyatta imetekeleza miradi mbalimbali kwenye sekta ya afya kuhakikisha Wakenya wanapata huduma bora za afya na kwa bei nafuu. Wiki hii kwenye Project 254
The Kenya we want is one in which no Kenyan should leave the country so as to receive the medical care they require.
Kila mtu amefahamu kuna linda mama na anakuja hospitalini na anasaidika hapa. Ikiwa ni operation ni bure. Ikiwa atazaa mwenyewe pia ni bure.
Hakuna mtu anafaa kukosa kupata huduma ya afya akienda kwa hospitali ya serikali.
It's your first time. Hey, I can see what's going on. You lack experience. Why are you dressed like this? You ought to dress more like me.